Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 2 Minute Warning, the high-paced American football podcast in which the time is in short supply, but the opinions, and today, massive predictions, are definitely not. My name is Jeremy. I'm joined by Matthew, my wonderful co-host. How are things for you this evening?
I'm all right, sort of all right. I've done my wrist in, but that's another story for another day with the shed roof involved. But hey ho, yeah, I'm not too bad. Back to work properly into it. Fifth day in, bit tired, bit fed up, but hey ho, life goes on. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm better than I was expecting to be tonight. I've got a poorly child at the moment,
Yeah,
and I was expecting to get 0 sleep last night, but actually it was fine, and I'm well
sweet.
rested and ready and raring to go to chat some NFL and get through to week one.
Right.
So before we get too deep into that, though, we've got a couple of other topics to discuss. Shall we crack on?
I think we should. So this week the Sky Sports schedule came out earlier. I think it was towards the back end of last week. So on the cusp of the NFL season, Sky Sports released their slate of games for Week One. On Thursday night, we kick off with Texans at the Chiefs. The Sunday triple header starts with the Dolphins at New England, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints, and the Dallas Cowboys at the LA Rams. On Monday night, we have the Steelers at the Giants, Titans at the Broncos, and interestingly, some news that I found out about on social media and did a bit of digging. Channel 5 here in the UK are also advertising Monday Night Football. So there may finally be some football back on our terrestrial TV channel here in the UK. What do you think about all of this schedule and a new channel added to our ever-growing NFL presence here in the UK, Jez?
Well, first of all, it's nice for Sky Sports to let everyone know in advance which games NFL Game Pass subscribers will not be able to watch because they'll be
Yeah.
blacked out. So that's nice of them, eh? Um, Dolphins Patriots seems like a really strange choice to me for that first Sunday night game in the triple header.
Yeah.
We look at the schedule, and there are far better games out there. I'd have gone with Vikings Packers personally, but each to their own.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting about Channel 5 getting back in the game potentially. I
Mhm.
wonder if they bring back my not favorite person, Mike Carlson. That'd be a massive
You
car
you
crash.
you love him really.
I love to meme him, so I would have to record the Channel 5 coverage, even though I would not use it, just to grab some memes out of Mike Carlson. That guy can sure talk some garbage. How about you? What do you think of it all?
So, did we actually get here? It's been a strange old run up to the season. You know, um, it feels a bit like Christmas or something. To be honest,
Hmm.
the way I'm feeling, I'm really excited for this season to actually kick off. Yeah, there'll be blackouts on Game Pass, but I think fans will make the effort to watch them regardless, wherever they watch it. Not that I'm saying watch it, you know, on the sly. But I think Channel 5, that's a great addition for us for Monday Night Football. Um, I don't know who'll present it, like you said. I just think there's so many questions to be answered, and finally we can say there's not that long to wait. 4 whole days.
Good timing. We closed that right at the buzzer, so or the whistle, as it were.
Yeah,
Very good work. Yeah, 4 days.
four
A lot can
days.
happen in 4 days, but hopefully we'll
Yeah,
kick off as normal on Thursday night.
fingers
In
crossed.
some other news, a surprise move. The Washington football team made the choice to cut veteran running back Adrian Peterson last week. There was talk of Peterson joining an already crowded Bucks backfield, but instead he signed a 1-year, $1.05 million contract with the Detroit Lions. What do we think about this moving and shaking and Adrian Peterson moving on from Washington? Here's 2 minutes.
All right, so I think Washington will miss AP. He's got so much experience and game awareness. I think the Lions will definitely benefit from him, even just in the locker room itself. I think he'll get reps in Detroit, but how many over the season, I think we'll just have to wait and see. It's a great pickup for Matt Patricia, and not that much money to have spent on a great NFL veteran. How about you?
I was pretty surprised that Washington decided to let him go. I mean, despite his age, he is definitely way up there in terms of NFL running backs. He's long beyond the kind of age expectancy of a running back in the NFL. But he's been pretty consistent since he came back from that kind of weird period of injury and being accused of things and whatever that was, where he didn't play for a couple of years. Last year, he rushed for 898 yards, which isn't huge, but it's fine. And for the role that he played in Washington and the role that he will very likely play in Detroit, I think he's definitely a useful guy to have on your roster, if nothing else, to bring along some of the younger guys and show them the best ways of doing things. Like, he's kind of a player coach in that sense at this
Yeah,
stage of his career. So I don't think we're going to see any massive kind of breakaway runs from him. That's not who he is anymore. He's not the AP of the Saints in 2008 or whenever he was in his height there, but he'll be great for short yardage situations. My only concern is that the Lions' backfield is super crowded now, and whether Peterson will get the reps that he needs to really be useful.
yeah.
We will see.
Well,
My Bears will see first thing on Sunday.
well, they certainly will.
Onwards there, Matthew.
Okay, so I think we're moving on to something that's important to a lot of NFL fans, and it's the must
Mm-hmm.
start for the NFL kickoff weekend. So, like I said, another important aspect of the new NFL season is fantasy football. We here at 2 Minute Warning want to help you uh, with your fantasy teams. Um, so going forward, we'd like to set you to send us your fantasy questions, and we'll discuss them live on air. So if you send in your questions now for week two's episode, we that's next Monday, of course. Today, though, with 2 minutes on the clock, Jez, who are two underrated players that you think must start this weekend?
So I'm glad we're doing this after I have drafted these people because you took my advice last week and stole it during our fantasy draft. So this is the right way round. I've drafted the player. Now I'm going to talk them up. My first pick is Jordan Howard. He's a Miami Dolphins running back nowadays, and he's had a run of bad luck of it in his previous teams.
Yeah,
In Chicago, he didn't fit the scheme, whatever that means for a between the tackles runner. I
yeah,
will never know how you can not fit a basic running scheme, but sure. In Philadelphia, it was just a bit of overcrowding. There wasn't really room for him in that backfield. They had a lot of rookie talent there. Um, but here in Miami, the only person that he needs to worry about in that sense is Matt Breida, who came over from the 49ers. I see him being productive, and I see him being the main starter in Miami. So start Jordan Howard. The other is Will Fuller, the Texans receiver. He had a fairly decent stat line in previous years, and that was with DeAndre Hopkins in the building. So I think with him gone, somebody's got to take those touches. Why not Will Fuller? Take a punt on him in week 1. I've left you with 25 seconds, so if you want to use your timeout, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will. Otherwise, I'll just be left and I'll be going on it all. So hey,
fair enough. Here's 2 new minutes for you then.
Okay, so my first pick, and it might surprise some people, will be the Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. I think I think he'll do really well, and I think he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to get a lot of reps under his belt going forward. I think he's going to do all right week 1. I see him racking up a couple of touchdowns, getting quite a bit of yardage, and etching up those little points that could be sort of productive for anybody who's drafted him, and potentially could be something that could edge some of those tight fantasy games. I think tight end Hunter Henry from the Chargers. I think he's a little bit underrated. Again, he'll do well, and I feel he'll click with the Chargers O line. He'll be okay. He'll do some magic stuff hopefully for them. Get them a few points. Get the fantasy owners a few points. I'll go a little bit off, to say that maybe Ronald Jones in Tampa Bay could be another player to look out for. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how players that are now drafted into fantasy teams are going to perform. It's going to be interesting to watch regardless. And I think, like you said, I took your advice and stole it, but you love my fantasy team anyway, don't you? Taking like Patrick Mahomes and DK Metcalf, right?
I'm just glad that we're going to be shifting over to a waivers-based pickup system. So when I talk about players that I'm interested in on a Monday night, it won't make a difference whether you claim them or not. It'll just be who's got the best waiver position. So you can try and steal all my ideas all you want at that point. But I was pissed you took DK Metcalf. I was absolutely livid, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I give me a trade.
No, mate, you can keep him. I hope he's a bust. Okay. Anyway, let's get cracking with our rundown of the opening week of games for week 1 of the NFL season. First up, on Thursday night, we have the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Houston Texans. What do we think? Who wins? Let's crack on. 2 minutes.
Okay, so I see this as being a dead cert for Kansas, to be honest. I think they'll win quite comfortably. Mahomes will just pick up where he left off. I mean, he's had that mega contract. He's got a little bit to prove. Is he his money's worth now after getting his first ring? Can he carry them forward? I'm pretty sure he can. I think the Texans will struggle. And I'm fancying a 42-21 to put it out there to the Chiefs. How about you?
Well, you're going so far as predicting a score. I'm not going to even venture into that kind of direction. Yeah. But this opening game, as they often are, the champions host the first game. But this one is a rematch of the 51-31 divisional round playoff game from last year that if you only watched the first quarter, you'd have thought that the Texans were walking it. Yeah. But then the Chiefs did their chiefly things, came back and won as they did several times throughout that playoff run. Yeah. Long story short, though, I think the Texans are going to be out for revenge for that game, but they're not going to get it. This is a different weaker Houston Texan team than the one that got off to that hot start in that game. And I don't think that they're going to be able to put all of the pieces together to stop Patrick Mahomes and that high-powered offense. And they're not going to be able to put up enough points to keep up with Patrick Mahomes scoring and scoring and scoring. Unless, by some strange fluke, Patrick Mahomes starts to decline. But I don't see that happening personally. Chiefs win.
I think we agree there, don't we? Absolutely.
Would you like to introduce the next game?
Okay, so the next game on the bill is the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. With 2 minutes on the clock, I'll leave it down to you.
This is a tough one. I really rate the Bills. I really, really do. And I don't rate the Jets all that much, but I don't think they're quite as bad as last year. And I don't think they're as bad as everybody makes them out to be in the NFL media right now. I think that Le'Veon Bell is going to have a bigger role this year, and he won't be as held back as he was last year. Hopefully, Adam Gase has learned a bit of a lesson there. But the Bills are an oven-ready playoff team. They've got all the pieces together.
Yeah.
So they just really have to go out and execute to walk this game, really.
Yeah.
That said, the Jets can stop the run. So maybe Devin Singletary doesn't get the chance to prove himself as that number one receiver. Diggs is going to prove himself after whining and crying about not getting the ball in Minnesota. So I think the Bills win. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's my least favorite game of Week 1 purely because it's rivalry in the AFC East. I think, like you said, Le'Veon Bell will have to have a big game. It's a massive chance for him. Same with Stephon Diggs. But I think the Jets just stink anyway. I don't like the Jets. I think I have the Bills winning this. I put a little bit of a score prediction in 28-17, but it could flip the other way. I mean, if the Jets click, they could win. But like you said, the Bills are an oven ready to
5 seconds.
quote you a playoff team. So yeah, Bills
Was
win.
that Bills?
Bills
Okay.
win.
Bills win. Next, then, one of the big divisional games of this opening week. The Packers travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Kick us off, 2 minutes.
Okay, so I'm not a fan of either. I kind of wanted Aaron Rodgers to go the other way and go to Minnesota, but it hasn't happened. But I want it to be a tie game in a sense. I don't want either team to win. But I don't think I don't know if Aaron Rodgers has been named QB1 or starting QB
He
over in
has,
Green.
yeah.
Okay, so I said I don't think he'd start, but he's obviously going to start. I'd like to see Jordan Love start there under centre. I see it being close, maybe going to overtime. That's just me wishing, I guess. But the Packers edging it by 3. So I've said 17-14. It's going to be close, I think. How about you?
So a field goal difference for you then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a hard-hitting game. Each team have got a running game that they need to establish to get over their previous kind of woes at that position. I think Dalvin Cook's a very capable runner. I think Aaron Jones is a very capable runner. So a lot of the focus should be on the run game, I think, even though each of these teams have got good quarterbacks. But the problem with that is neither team have really got anybody of a massive caliber to throw to. So, barring some kind of surprise 100-yard game from some random receiver on the street, some no name that we've not really followed, don't see this being an air game particularly. As I said, two good QBs, but Rodgers is overrated.
Yeah.
Vikings win. You heard it here first.
Okay, we gone different teams.
Yeah. Well, I think this prediction thing might be a little bit of a competition, Matthew. So if we agreed the entire time, it would be dull.
It certainly would be, and nobody'd be laughing at the end of the season either. So next we have the Philadelphia Eagles, and they travel to the now Washington football team. With 2 minutes on the clock, you can start us off.
Thank you, Robot Man. This one should be fairly cut and dry, I think. But expect a better Washington team than last year. Dwayne Haskins should be a bit more comfortable and settled into his role now. He already had that rapport with Terry McLaurin. They've put some other pieces in place. Hopefully, he's built up some chemistry with them as well. But the Eagles are the Eagles. As long as Carson Wentz can stay healthy, then they'll do well. And even not, I highly, highly rate Jalen Hurts. And the rookie can probably step in his stead if needs be. Much like the Jets game, I think that Washington will put up a fight, but they'll ultimately fall short. Eagles victory for me.
Okay, so to be honest, I'm going the other way. I see Washington winning.
Wow.
I just think they have something to prove now. It looks like Alex Smith could make a comeback in this game. I'm not too sure who they've named QB1, but I've seen a bit of news buzzing around about Alex Smith coming back into the fray with them. And I think he could prove to be a good QB again. I think this could be the feel good story of the week one matchups. I think Wentz will get the Eagles clicking, and yeah, they'll move the ball up and down the field. But Washington, I'm going to go with a 3 point difference again, and I'm going to say 30-27. And I know it's going to be a bit controversial, but yeah, I'd like them to have had a name by now. But Washington football team to win.
Welcome back to Monster Gaming, who was here at the beginning and has now rejoined us. We are just working through our week one rundown and predictions. And yeah, you think a very competitive game between the Washington team and the Eagles. I'm not so convinced myself.
I think I've got a bit of that DC spirit still, out of XFL. But
yeah,
I just want them to win.
These aren't the DC Defenders, though, Matthew. These are the Washington no names. So, no, the DC Defenders would be the Eagles, I think. But
yes, I think they would.
That is another story. Moving on through the NFL Week 1 schedule, the next game to discuss is the Miami Dolphins against your New England Patriots. So you can kick us off with this one. Here's 2 minutes.
Okay, so I think Fitzmagic is going to be a bit of a sideshow in Foxborough this week. I feel Cam Newton will make the whole NFL sit up and take notice. I think he's got a lot to prove. He's impressed Coach Belichick. He's impressed the whole organization. I think he's impressed quite a lot of the neutral fan base that we've got as New England Patriots fans that were a bit torn that Tom Brady had gone and who we were going to have next, and they wanted Jarrett Stidham to start as QB. But no, we got Cam Newton, and I think he's going to absolutely make that offensive line click. I think it's going to be. I want Bill Belichick to carry on and show the rest of the world that we don't need Tom Brady anymore. I see it being close at times, but a Stephon Gilmore interception or a pick six might be the difference. I have gone 34-27 to the New England Patriots. How about you?
Yeah, so as you said, the Dolphins have named Fitzpatrick the starter over rookie Tua Tagovailoa,
Yeah.
and that's probably the best move, but it's not hugely exciting to a neutral viewer. And I think that kind of boring decision, as you say, is going to give Cam Newton the chance to ball out and show why Carolina were stupid to let him out of the door. Maybe the Dolphins come in and shock the world and beat the Patriots, but I would expect the Patriots to shock the world even more and kind of carry on regardless, showing that they can win even though the quarterback that they have now is not named Tom Brady. Patriots win.
We agree on a Patriots win. I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
in
I
our,
feel a bit
in our,
dirty
I
calling
bet,
Patriots
I,
wins.
I bet you
Skin's
do.
crawling a bit. Yeah. Monster Gaming says, this is better than Around the Horn. Thanks, high praise. I like Around the Horn.
Oh, okay. You'll have to educate me one day, just not now.
Fair enough.
Okay, so next we move on to the Colts at the Jaguars, and 2 minutes as usual on the clock. Jeremy, give us your thoughts.
It's going to be a snore fest, this one, isn't it? You know, like Colts, meh, Jaguars, meh.
Yeah.
Like, especially nobody's really expecting much of the Jaguars. They've traded half their team away or let them go or whatever. And for some reason, people in the media are expecting the world of the Colts, and I just don't see it. Sorry, I've no faith in Captain Sidearm Philip Rivers at all. I think he's been in decline year after year after year, and he probably should have retired a Charger. I've got no faith in T.Y. Hilton to remain healthy for more than a game. I've just got no faith in anything the Colts really have to offer. So, despite being the favourite, I think the Colts kind of drop the ball here. The Jaguars pull the upset, and Minshew Mania will run wild once again. Jags win.
Like you said, I think this is the pit of misery game. To be honest, I think do we even have to talk about this game because I
Yes, that's how
Snowfest.
the show works. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, this is on the schedule. We have to talk about it. There might be some fans out there. I feel that the Jags will win, but it'll be close. I think both teams stink, and the whole world will continue to move on regardless. I don't think even that I want to give a score. To be honest, I just really don't. Just an inspiring game of mediocre teams playing professional football. But I'm going to go with the Jags, and they're going to win it 14-10.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There you go. Didn't
Oh,
even need the full 2 minutes for that one.
no. Boring.
I like how you said you weren't going to give a score and then went ahead and gave a score.
I don't want to disappoint the fans. Come on now. I've got to give a score.
Excellent consistency there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Always consistent.
Well, speaking of consistent, or potentially not consistent, consistently bad, perhaps, we're
Yeah.
on to my Chicago Bears as they travel to Detroit to face the Detroit Lions. And you can kick us off, and I'll weep into my hands a bit and
What?
hopefully gain some confidence to talk about the Bears.
I have to slate them now or later?
I'll get on with it. 2
All right,
minutes.
okay. All right, okay. So, the Bears have been brave, they've been brash, and they have to be bold to make Trubisky QB1. I think it's going to be a good decision for them. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, the Lions have Adrian Peterson now. But like you said earlier, when we were talking about him, they've got so many in the backfield. I don't know who they're going to play. I think he's not going to be a threat to the Bears' defensive line. I see this being uh, being close at times, But your Chicago Bears, and I'm going to be really bold with my prediction, just like they've been with their QB1, I'm going to say 35-10 to the Bears.
I would take that. But when Matt Nagy came out last week and named Mitchell Trubisky the Bears starter,
Yeah.
last year I was all in on Bisky. I stand
Yeah.
Bisky hard last year,
Mm-hmm.
but I think now he's too far gone. Unless Nagy has miraculously decided that he's going to let Bisky off the reins and take off and run, I just see a repeat of last year happening, or probably not even that far because Nick Foles will jump in halfway through the season and be equally as bad or something like that. That said, as bad as the Bears can play, the
Yeah.
Lions are worse.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got
I agree.
67 running backs fighting for their starting position. So I think my Bears beat them, to be quite honest. The Bears! Bear down. I don't even
We
need 2 minutes. I'm stopping the clock. Bam.
we
It's
we,
done.
we agreed on that one again. I can't believe I've agreed on a Bears win. I would say I feel dirty, but it's just like I'm too tired to even feel like that. But yeah,
Let's
I
crack
think
on.
1-0. Okay, so next on our lovely, lovely schedule for week 1, we have the now Las Vegas Raiders. I nearly call them whatever they used to be, Los Angeles or wherever.
Oakland.
Oakland, that's the one. I knew it was somewhere in California against the Carolina Panthers. 2 minutes on the clock. After you, Jeremy.
Why, thank you. I'm actually excited to see what the Panthers' offense looks like
Mhm.
with Teddy Bridgewater under center. Obviously, you can expect a heavy dose of Christian McCaffrey. That was the formula that got them where they got last year, as pretty much the rest of the team crumbled around them, apart from Christian McCaffrey. So expect them to lean on him heavily. He's got big money contracts, so he really needs to earn that. The Raiders, now in Vegas, have an awkward situation on their hands brewing at QB.
Mhm.
So when Carr is perceived to be struggling, they'll bring in Mariota. Mariota is
Yeah.
there nipping at his heels, but he's definitely not any better. The Titans starting Mariota last year was the worst decision that they have ever made as an organization. So even if Carr starts to stink out a little bit, leave him in. But I've got to say, Panthers win. Neither team's really ready to win, but the Panthers are less likely to lose. Is that fair? What do you
Yeah,
think?
that's fair. So I'd love the Raiders to win, but I don't see it happening at all. I think the Panthers will ruin the inaugural Las Vegas Raiders game week 1 with
Mm-hmm.
performance from CMC and Teddy B there in Carolina. I feel like it's going to be closer than we expect, but the Panthers will edge it. I'm just looking forward to seeing the Raiders' shiny new stadium when we get to watch a Raiders home game in on TV over here.
Did you say who won then? I think I missed
27,
it.
27-21 to the Panthers.
Okay,
Close, but Panthers will win.
cool. Yeah, this game is in Carolina, obviously, so we don't get our Las
No,
Vegas kickoff yet.
no, we don't.
Moving forwards then to the Browns at the Ravens. Is this as cut and shut as it sounds like it should be? You tell us. Here's 2 minutes.
Okay, so Jackson is going to dominate in this game. I think the Browns suck as they always do. I think it's really going to be a blowout. I think it's the first one we're going to see of a very good season for Lamar Jackson and his Baltimore Ravens. I think he's going to run the show all night long. I said 42-10 to the Ravens. It's their time to step up to the plate, and I think they're going to start showing the NFL that they're back in business. How about you?
I mean, poor Browns. Like, everyone looks to them week one to show whether they've improved or not. And then when they haven't or don't, then they're written off for the year, and that's that. Like, week
Yeah.
one is always their make and break game. And I'm not sure that's completely fair, but that's the situation they're in. And it ain't going to happen against the Ravens, Rest in peace, Cleveland Browns. I'm excited to see the Ravens again.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Lamar Jackson to score me enough fantasy football points. I'm excited to see the Ravens win. I don't really have anything more to say. Have you got anything more to say? We've got 30 seconds left.
No, it's just I think it's pretty cut and dry, isn't it? Ravens all the way, and I think they've got a very good season ahead of them, and they start week one, big win.
Bam, let's stop that clock. Didn't even need 2 minutes.
We're powering through because I think some of these games are definitely going to be hopefully as clear as we've said they're going to be, but it could be as clear as mud, as the saying goes.
Who's next for us?
Okay, so next we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. 2 minutes on the clock, and see if we can make the 2 minutes. Jeremy, let us know your feelings on this game.
I might need to talk very slowly to get us through to the 2 minutes. Now, the Falcons are rebuilding. It's weird that they're rebuilding and their head coach still has his job. We discussed that at length when we talked about the state of the Falcons a couple of weeks ago. I like the addition of Todd Gurley to the team. I think they really needed somebody solid at that running back position. It's whether Todd Gurley can be healthy or not. If he can, I think he makes a massive impact for the Falcons and will be a breath of fresh air for them and their running game. I've put the Seahawks in the same kind of category as the Bills at the moment. They've got all the pieces in place. They're ready to go on a massive playoff run. But there's just something holding them back, something missing. That said, they're going to win this game, in my opinion. Yeah. It's fairly simple. Over to you.
Yeah, well, I completely agree. The Seahawks will win. Russell Wilson needs to start playing like we know he can play, and I'm pretty sure he's probably had this time to adjust and readjust and get used to what they need to be like, what the Seahawks need to be like. I can see DK Metcalf, everyone's favorite wide receiver, getting 3 touchdowns in this game. To be honest, he's going to have a big game. He's going to pick up a lot of yardage in the game. I think the Falcons are going to flop instead of rising up. I think it's a serious start for the Seahawks on their run to a post-season.
Okay, another agreement for us then.
I didn't have a score though, and I'm not going to say one because it's going to be
no.
Yeah, I just think Seattle win. Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not going to hold the scores against you when we tot up the wins and losses here. It's just going to be a wins and loss game.
I hope you're keeping tally because I'm not.
Luckily, this is a recorded podcast. We can go back to it later and see what we said. It is casted into the annals of history. We can't renege on our picks and say, "Oh no, I obviously picked the Lions." Come on.
Damn, that wasn't me talking back in September. Shut the front door.
That was an imposter on the podcast. How did he get onto Twitch? Anyway, back into the real world. The next game, we've moved into the latter part of Sunday now, quite heavily, and we're on to the LA Chargers, who I still want to call the San Diego Chargers, and the Cincinnati Bengals. What do you think of these teams? 2 minutes.
Oh Lord, that's what I thought. Chargers are a fantastic team, even a great team, but only on Hard Knocks. I quite like my feelings on Hard Knocks. I have been watching it here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, they're only good on reality TV or whatever you want to call it. But nothing special on the football field. This could end up a tie game, but I think the um, if the win is going to go anywhere in this game, Cincinnati, I don't think are good enough. I think the win is going back with the Chargers to not San Diego, but Los Angeles. How about you?
So maybe this is the snore of the week. Maybe.
Mm,
So Tyrod Taylor is starting in LA, not rookie Justin Herbert. It's not his time yet. Joe Burrow is starting in Cincinnati, and it will be intriguing to see what the kid can do for what has been for a long time a massive dumpster fire of a team.
yeah,
This honestly could go either way. I don't have much confidence in either of these teams, but I guess I've got to pick one of them, right?
yeah.
Um, I
Unfortunately,
think the Bengals have the edge. I think um, what's his face? I've forgotten names now. Joe Burrow is going to be the motivation that they need to finally get back on the winning track. The kid's a good QB, and I think he can turn the spirits of the Bengals around and get them a victory against a very weak Chargers team at home.
right
We
on the
even got to
buzzer.
2 minutes on that one. Yeah.
Three.
So next we head west
Yep.
for the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. Could be an interesting game. 2
Mm.
minutes for your thoughts.
Okay, so I think this will go the way of the 49ers. I don't think they they want to continue being hungover from the Super Bowl loss. But maybe they will be. Maybe they've just got it up there and the mentality has gone a little bit with everything that's happened. No preseason, coming into a regular season on the back of a Super Bowl loss, no momentum going forward.
Hmm.
Um, and um, I think the Cardinals could actually shock them and win. However, if Jimmy G and George Kittle show up and get that offense going, they'll absolutely walk it. And I think it's too close to call for me. How about you?
Well, you've got to call it, so get thinking while I give my prediction. I'm predicting the upset here. I think the 49ers are going to struggle to get back into the groove after that embarrassing Super Bowl loss.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals have got all the parts there now. Bringing in D Hop into the house. Fitz in the twilight of his career. He needs that ring. It's kind of now or never. Kyler Murray's on the rise. It's time to shock the world. And week one against a division rival who were a Super Bowl runner up last year is the biggest shocker that you can deliver. Cardinals are capable of doing it. And I think they do. Cardinals win. Now give me your prediction.
49ers by 3 points. I'm going to be it's going to be a field goal in it. It's really close. But yeah, 49ers to win by a field goal, and that's it. And that's going
It'll
to be in
come down to the
overtime.
foot of Chicago Bears' favorite son, Robbie Gould, who is now the kicker in San Francisco.
Yeah, overtime
Fair
victory.
enough. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean that's a good game, and I'm surprised that isn't the Sky Sports game. But
Yes. Yeah.
perhaps
Yeah.
this next game that you're going to introduce will be even better.
Yeah. So it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I won't call them what I'm going to call them. against the New Orleans Saints. 2 minutes on the clock. Give us your thoughts on this whole new looking Bucks and the old guy who plays QB at New Orleans Saints.
Well, I think we've covered quite enough about what's going on in Tampa over the course of the last 10 or so weeks that we've been doing this new version of the podcast. That's definitely been covered enough. But I think this is going to be the game of the week. The Saints kind of seem ready for an implosion, and I think that may come at the hands of Drew Brees. I think he will implode at some point, maybe in this game.
Yeah.
He's been on the edge for a while now, and there's a young Taysom Hill in New Orleans waiting to come and try and fill his shoes, which he won't. The Saints got a wicked defense, but that Brady, that old man, is a schemy schemer. And I think with all the weapons that they've brought into Tampa Bay, the Bucks will win. How about you?
Okay, so it's the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers et al. With the list they've compiled in this offseason, it has been interesting to see where they're going to go with it all. I think with this all these signing the players, they I think they've got the talent to topple Drew Brees and his not Saints, Aints, as some of you NFC fans like to call them. I want this to be exciting. I want it to be fast paced. I'd love some of these Hail Mary passes down the field. I'd love massive runs. Heck, a Gronk spike to top it all off. That'd be cool to see after all this time. It'll be close, and I'm going to go 27-24 to the Bucks.
Okay.
And quote me on that.
A few seconds before the whistle. Nice. Okay. So we both went the Bucks there.
Yeah.
Onwards to the Sunday night football, the late night game for us here in the UK, which is the Dallas Cowboys traveling to LA for the opening of that sweet new stadium of the LA Rams. 2 minutes. What do you think?
Okay, so I think the Cowboys are going to ride into LA and they're going to leave with the W. I think the Rams have nothing to offer at all. Another hard knocks team that are great on TV, but will struggle on the field. I can't see anything other than a comfortable win for Dallas, and I'm saying yeehaw, 28-10 to the Cowboys.
Please don't do that again. I've been on record on this show that I think the Rams are in a massive kind of nosedive, massive decline. And I've also been on record that I think Dak Prescott is a good QB. Honest. So now is the time for them boys to put up or shut up. This is a must-win game for the Cowboys on primetime television. And I think that they do the deed. I don't think that this Rams team has got enough to outscore them. Cowboys win. And we're done with that one with 45 seconds to go. Easy money.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, Rams are like that. Cowboys are kind of going like that, back up. But yeah, I think it's going to be easy for them to walk into LA and grab that win for week one and move on. So yeah, take up a
Two more games then. On to Monday night.
Okay, so first of the Monday night football games starts with the Pittsburgh Steelers at the New York Giants. How do you feel about this game?
So I'm glad that our friend Death Valley is on a plane and will not be able to hear this immediately or live, as it were. So I can slate the Giants all I like. the Steelers should be back in full gear this year with the return of Ben Roethlisberger. The thing is that guy could be injured at any given moment again.
Yeah.
He's had a string of being injured in the first week of the season and being out for a long period. He's got form there, so it could happen again. But if you are a terrible towel swinging Steel City kind of guy, you shouldn't get excited about your team for that reason, I think. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the Giants can be competitive, but I still think that they're in a learning improvement kind of phase. So I think the Steelers win.
For me, it was kind of one of these games that I couldn't choose again. But I think it'll be a good watch. If you want to sit up and watch this Monday night, then I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's two all rightish teams. Steelers could go back to clicking like they used to. I think the Steelers will absolutely go in there, grab the win. It'll be close. Um, and I think it'll go right down to the 2 minute warning, and in the fourth quarter, of course, and it'll be 21-17, just to put a score in there. But yeah, another a close game, a good game to watch. I hope Big Ben stays healthy for their sake. Otherwise, they're going to struggle this year without him under center.
I hope that Ben stays healthy, not for his own sake, but for Juju Smith-Schuster's sake. I want to see
Yes.
that guy do well. I really like
Yeah.
him.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, then, our last game of week 1 will be the Tennessee Titans and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
The final 2 minutes begins with you. Here we go.
Okay, so I think the Titans are going to run away with this one. They had a decent season last year. I think they'll pick up where they left off. I don't rate the Broncos at all. They've got. I mean, I went on record, I think last week when we discussed the Broncos, or a couple of weeks ago, that they've got nothing going for them apart from that awful orange shirt that they wear. I think will be proven right in week 1. I think we're right to write them off from the off. I see this being a high scoring game, and the Titans are winning 42-17. Bold prediction from me, but I like bold predictions. How about you?
I think we might as well ship this team off to France now,
Yeah.
because a Bronco is going to get slaughtered. So the French might as well eat it. That's
Yeah,
what they do, right?
something
The
like that.
Titans showed what a force they could be in the playoffs last year. And the Broncos, throughout the regular season, showed that they're just not ready for the big leagues. Drew Lock is overrated. There, I said it. He's
Yeah,
overrated. I don't think he's the answer for them. I think they made the wrong choice in drafting Drew Lock last year. Titans win, and I don't think they make it look difficult either.
no, absolutely, fully agree with you there. Good team going in there. Good team is going to come out of there with that big juicy win for them to start off the regular season.
Mm. And that game will probably still be being broadcast when I wake up on Monday morning. It's going to be a
What
late one.
time do you wake up? I'm like up at 7 o'clock for work. No way is it going to be being broadcast then.
Yeah, last year it was
Jeez.
the first week, because of the double header. Like, the second game doesn't kick off until like 3 a.m. our time, so
Um,
it's on until like 6 a.m.
yeah, because they like
later if it goes into overtime.
all these ad breaks in America. We get them too over here, don't we? Unfortunately, well, I just don't know why it
Yeah.
can't be. Yeah, American
The
football.
interesting thing this year, and I don't think it's happened before, is normally this double header of games on a Monday night to kick off the season is normally West Coast teams. So it's not anywhere near as late
Yeah.
there. But Broncos is kind of centre left.
Centre.
They're in Mountain Time.
Yeah.
So they're, where are we? About 7 hours behind us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even that game for them is going to be ending close to midnight, I think.
Mhm.
It's going to be a late one.
That's a late one for American football in the States.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
So, whereas, when it was Oakland at San Francisco or Oakland at Denver in Oakland, it was, finishing kind of 10 o'clock, normal kind of time. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so it's interesting they've gone with this choice to have, New York and Denver as the hosts
Yes.
of the opening Monday Night
Yeah.
Football games.
Yeah.
So, with that, then we have fully covered the first week of the NFL season. I'm really excited to get this going. There's been times where we wondered whether it was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what football looks like under coronavirus rules.
Yeah, I think 10 weeks has been well, obviously when we had the little week gap and we're doing it fortnightly, I think all that discussion that we had pre-season, we have, had a good old chat about it. We've given our opinions on it. Now it comes down to football itself, finally.
Yeah. Yes,
Finally.
I have talked far too much about football without there actually being football. I'm ready to
Yeah.
get some games played and discuss what's actually happened on the field rather than what one person has said has happened at practice that we can't see because
No.
there are no actual cameras
Yeah.
really watching.
Yeah.
So
Like
we'll be
so.
back next week for the 20th episode of 2 Minute Warning. We'll go over what's happened in week 1 and predict what's going to happen next week. Reese has just rocked in as we're about to finish, as is the tradition.
Yeah.
So you can go back and start again on a replay, Reese. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks, Reece.
The rest of the week on the Jez Show Network. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. is the main roster, the WWE podcast. On Wednesday at 9 p.m. is the very funny, if I do say so myself, Don't Get Me Started. Really enjoy doing that podcast and just having a good time with my friend Alex Borton. And then there are more video games to close out the working week.
Yeah.
I'm playing a Halo game on Thursday. Not sure which one yet. I'm going to put that out to a vote. And I'm playing Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion on Friday night for the Master System, which you may remember me playing back in the day.
I do. Yes, I do.
It's a tough one.
It's a long time ago. I've known you for like 20 odd years. We were we were never down there.
No.
We were kind of always up. Yeah.
Me especially.
Then you
You're
just
a bit
took
of a
over.
midget.
I am, yeah. Standard at whatever British American football want to measure me at. I'm not 6 foot apparently. I'm 5'10". It's quite a difference, isn't there?
I could have told you that. There's no way you were 6 foot. You weren't even close.
On
that note, that is where we will close. I've been Jez. I was joined by a shorter Matt.
Yeah, keep shrinking.
And it just keeps kind of shrinking down. And I'll start to play the ending music. And as is the tradition on this podcast, I will say goodbye, Matt.
Goodbye, Matt.